A lot of the times, like stereotypes or biases against, Filipinos could also be coming from fellow Asians as well, not just,
Mm-hmm.
from the Western crowd.
Yes.
I just want to know, what are some of the common misconceptions about the Philippines or stereotypes about Filipinas, that you have heard of that you thought was, oh, that was quite ridiculous?
Number one is the accent. So if they hear like that you have at least a neutral accent, or in a way like a, I don't know, like an Americanized accent, they would be like, "Oh, your accent's different. You don't sound Filipino." Like, how should I sound? I mean, I know you've seen it, like probably on social media, how they make it as a joke, like the Filipino English accent, but it's not like that. I mean, so maybe that's one thing. I really find it ridiculous. Like, okay, I'm sorry for not sounding Filipino enough for you. That's like always in my head, because I usually get that comment. We're in, oh, your English is very nice. I'm like, thank you, but I like, is it a compliment? Like, what do you expect? Or they'll be like, oh, you have an accent. I'm like, yes. Or sometimes they feel like you're trying too hard. You shouldn't sound that way. So that's like top of mind. Like, oh, it's crazy. Like, okay, I'm sorry, I don't sound like Filipino English to you, but I mean, so yeah, I mean that's one thing. And then I guess the other like stereotypes that I've heard, especially when I'm here, is that when they ask me what my job is and I don't say a nurse, they'll be like, "Oh, what would I take of that?" Oh, so I met a couple of friends of friends. Wherein when they ask me, "Oh, what do you do?" Like, okay, I'll tell them what I do, and they're like, "Oh, you're not a nurse." I'm like, "Yes," and the next question is why. So like, why not? I mean, I know it's like an innocent question for them, because like, again, because of the stereotypes, that's what they know. Like, oh, okay, you're a Filipina in the US, you must be a nurse, or you must be studying nursing or whatnot. So those are the main two things that I personally experienced here in LA,
Mm,
which I don't understand, but I also would like to give them the benefit of the doubt that they don't know any better.
mm.
Maybe they're just really like, not informed, or maybe it's a conversation starter. Yes, it is. But if you hear it like 5, 10 times already, it gets to you like, what's wrong? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, So yes, I think those are some of the stereotypes that that I receive personally, but I also know that there's more. For example, like, um so if you're like a Filipina here in the US, it's either you married someone here, like, oh, or like, if you have like, oh, I have my family here, my mom, my dad, usually they will say, oh, did your mother marry like a foreigner just to get a green card? That's
Mm.
like, that's also very ridiculous. They always use it as a joke. So like, they will tell me, oh, just marry someone here so you could stay here forever, and I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, the fastest way to get a visa is to just marry a foreigner and get a green card. Like, is that what you think about Filipinos? We just, you know, we will do anything and everything just to be in the US. Like, no, we have other ways. No, there are like, I know. It actually triggers me,
Yeah.
because it's crazy to think that Filipinas like will just engage, or like, even if you have a friend who's like a guy and a foreigner or white or Western, they'll think, oh, just marry him so that you can get a green card. It's like, not everyone wants to live in the US. I mean,
Yeah. Exactly.
that's my point. That's like the triggering part for me. Like, guys, not everything is about the US. Not everything is about you. Like, do you think that Filipinas are just that easy and that naive to just marry someone, a stranger, a foreigner, just so they can get a green card? I mean, what? That's like an insult in all levels.
Yeah, I mean, that's also kind of rich coming from them, implying that your best option as a Filipina is to live in the US or, marry someone
Yes.
white. I mean,
Yes.
they think that's your best option, but no, actually, there are so many more amazing places out there that you
Yes.
could have chosen that could be,
Yes.
relatively better than the US.
Yes. And maybe what I'm trying to point out is that you can actually go to the US without being a nurse and without marrying
Mm,
a foreigner.
that's true.
That, yeah, so I think those are the things that they also don't understand. Like they're actually confused, like how I got the job, why was I hired in a company based in the US. And I'm like, there are ways. You have to work for it, you have to look for it. It's not always, oh, okay, you have an American dream, okay, be a nurse, marry someone. And to be honest, not everyone actually has an American dream. That's
Mm,
what they need to understand. I mean, yeah. So I guess
that's
those are the top three that I personally receive, like what I observe, like in general.
Yeah.